Hello YouTube and tankers, and welcome back to Not Sure Gaming, where we're talking about War Thunder and lower BR and some basics of angling and armor penetration. And today we're going to try to talk about how we can position our tank. In the previous video we talked about the angle of impact and how we need to think about getting a minimal angle versus a steep angle, and how much even just a little bit can help. Real quick, so if we look at this tank, which is obviously very easy for me to shoot right here, if I shoot him right there, he's going to detonate. But if I let my sight just drift over here, now he's fine. And it's just because the angle of the armor is now much greater, and it has improved his effective thickness so that I can just keep shooting him there, and it's just going to keep bouncing. But once I reduce that angle and bring it back down, it goes right through. So we want to talk about how when the enemy tank is looking at us, what they see and what we are presenting to them, and how we can make their shot hit us at a greater angle so that we can prove our effective thickness and our chance to ricochet that shell. So let's look at this guy downrange, and there he is. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and what he sees right now is this. Right, he's looking straight on at my tank, so he's got different areas he can try to shoot with the minimum impact angle. Now yes, some of the surfaces are sloped, but he's getting a minimum angle on those sloped surfaces. If I can change my position a little, even if I change it just a little like this, now what I have done is I've created a more sloped surface on the slope. So I've created a compound angle that's going to help increase the effective armor thickness of the front of my tank. And yes, I have slightly exposed the side of my tank, but it is a very steep angle, and probably one that he won't bother shooting at. Ideally, I try to keep on most of my shots, if I'm in a position where I think I'm being seen, I try to position the tank when I'm going to take the shot so that, ooh, I slid a little bit in the mud there, so that the corner is, or the barrel is right over this front corner of my tank. And what that does is kind of give the maximum value to each side. It's like distributing it evenly. I could go for a steeper angle on the left side of my tank, or I could go for a steeper angle on the front side of my tank. Because the front of the tank is shorter and the side of the tank is longer, he's getting a steeper angle on the long side of my tank and a shallower angle on the front side of my tank. But the front side of the tank is the stronger part, so it's okay to have the lesser angle be on that particular surface. So, quick review here. You want to try to position your tank when you're looking at him, or you're going to tank a shot. Try to get an angle. Some people say it's like a 45. I don't know exactly what the angle is. Try to think about putting that turret so that it's close to this front corner without going over it. The big thing is not to go over it. Once I start going over it, I'm reducing that angle on the side of my armor, which increases the chance that he's going to be able to penetrate there. And the more I overturn it, the more I expose the side of my tank, and the lesser angle that he can take, and it's going to just keeps reducing my effective armor thickness. The more and more I over rotate on that, now I'm almost giving him, let me see if I line that up a little better. I'm almost giving him a dead-on angle into the side of my tank, which is very, very dangerous. So if we're going to error on not getting perfectly on the corner of our shot, then it's better to error to having the gun barrel a little to the right of that front corner, because the front side of my tank is the stronger side of the tank. So now let's talk about if we're driving and we're moving and we see that guy and he sees us. Maybe he came over a little crest of a hill and all of a sudden we see him. Depending on how quick you are at shooting, you can try to just pop a shot, you know, especially in arcade, and that's what we play. We play arcade. It's tons of fun. I love watching the mini map, and I've played some realistic, and honestly, I'm not a pro. I do well in arcade. I do not do well in realistic. And it's partly, I think I just don't know the map so well. It seems like there's always some guy just like hiding behind some bush, like way over somewhere, and I never even saw him, and boom, I'm done. In arcade, I feel like I have a chance because I can watch the map and pay attention, and I can focus a little more on the enemies around me. I also just like the fun style of just shoot and fly, which is another reason I like the lower BRs. The upper tier BRs are a little different play style for sure. So if I'm not going to take a quick shot at him, I might try to let him shoot first, and in doing so, keeping my tank wiggling and moving so that he can't line up a perfect shot. And if I'm going to be aggressive, which a lot of times I find being aggressive is a little better than being defensive. What Sun Tzu's Art of War, the best defense is a good offense. So sometimes I find being a little more aggressive is actually better. Yeah, sure, sometimes you get blown up, but that's the game. Another times it can lead you to a great little streak where you get 3, 4, 5, and it feels great because you were being aggressive and pushing, and you helped your team, and you got a lot of points. So keeping my tank wiggling and moving as I'm approaching him or trying to get a shot, and letting him shoot, and once he's shot, now I know I have a window. And some of this takes learning about which tanks have long reloads and which tanks have fast, but you've got at least 3.5 seconds. Even a fast loading tank is going to be 3.5, 4, 5 seconds depending on the BR in the tank. But you've got at least a couple seconds after that shot to, now he's taking that shot, now you can line up and take the shot that you want, and then hopefully get your kill, and then you can move on from there. So the next thing I want to talk about is when we're over on a corner. So we do this a lot where we're using an object in the terrain, either rocks or a ridge, or sometimes a steep hill, or a house or a building. Be careful with the houses, right? Some of those buildings can be shot through and others can't. And again, that takes a little bit of learning the maps about which buildings shots will go through and which ones they won't. And a lot of people are trying to hide behind buildings and that are these little wooden structures. Your shells will go right through. Just put a shell through there and go ahead and hit them and ding them and make them nervous. But when we're looking at a corner here and we want to get a shot on that guy and he wants to get a shot on us, there's a couple ways you could do it. You could do it like this, and in which I can see him and he can see me. But what I'm doing here is I'm presenting everything to the right side of my barrel. And again, just like out in the open, I'm now presenting the front of my tank with a minimum impact value for him. So what we want to do again is just like out in the open, we want to try to position the tank so that the barrel is over the front left corner of the tank so that I'm only exposing to him the strongest part of my armor, my front armor, while I'm trying to take that shot. The second way to do this is what they call side scraping, and some people like it and some people don't. I think it depends a little bit on the tank. Some tanks, the side armor is really good and they're really well defended, especially some of the British tanks have really good armor down the side, in this middle, to low tier. But anyway, side scraping works the opposite way. I'm just going to put the barrel over this corner, and now instead of using the front of my tank to deflect the shot, I'm basically trying to deflect with the back. But really, I don't actually want to deflect it when I do side scraping. What I want to do is one, don't do it right here on the corner where you get bumped up on the rocks and stuff like that. Get off of the obstacle that you're using if you can. Get a little bit away from it so you have room to maneuver. And then start working the back of your tank a little bit so I can see him and I can see what his barrel's doing, right? I can look at him and I can see what he's trying to do. And what I want to do is bait him into taking a shot so that I can take that advantage of that reload time to go try to get an open shot or to get a better position on him. So I want to bait him, and I kind of want to wiggle the back, and I can kind of watch his barrel. And a lot of times if you're quick, as soon as you see that flash on his muzzle, you can just quickly pivot off or jerk your tank so that it won't hit exactly where he was aiming at, giving it a quick pivot to bounce or a quick reverse to help maneuver that tank out of the shot. And then once I've done that, so I've come out, I've baited him, he's taken a shot, and now I can swing out a little further and I can take my shot, and then I can get back in to cover while he's reloading. and then I can reposition. I can bait him, and oh, there he fires. I swung the tail out. I go back and I shoot him again, and then I come back in here and I go for my next target. So the last one I want to talk about is when you're on the move, which a lot of times you're trying to cross a field and then some tank comes over the hill and he sees you, so you're driving up here, you're trying to get to that thing, and all of a sudden you see a tank out there in the field. Oh my gosh. Well, you're in trouble, right? Because you're presenting the whole side of your tank to this guy who's just come over the hill and he's looking at you, but your cover is over there. So there's a couple things you can do. One is you can just stop and go ahead and pivot to him and present that minimal impact angle as best you can and shoot at him. And the second you can do is, if you're really fast, you can just hope you're going to try to get over there. But if you do, keep a little wiggle, and as soon as that muzzle flashes, give yourself a pivot so that then as that shell is flying towards you, you can increase the angle so that you will reduce the impact of the shell. And then after you, swung and take the shot, then go back to getting back over here, and now you can decide how you want to work your corner. So there's a last way that you can work a corner is using the back of your tank. I generally don't like doing this because I have a lot of trouble in reverse. I generally only do this if I have like a heavy tank that's really slow. And lighter tanks I don't like to do it, but if I take a shot back here, it can hurt my engine, and it can knock me out, and I can't move. But the chances of him killing me by shooting at the back of my tank, getting an insta-kill, are really small. But again, I only do that in rare circumstances, specifically with some heavy tanks that are really slow, and I'm on a slow reload, and I just want to try to survive. So I know I'm going to get hit. So there's 3 of them coming and they're pushing me. So then I will sometimes use the back of my tank to protect myself and try to get off one more shot, or maybe squeeze out one more victory on an enemy before they take me down. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. The next one I want to talk about looking over hills and gun depression, and how the different tanks are affected by that, and how you can improve your chances of being able to shoot over hills and not get shot over hills. But thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, you found it a little bit helpful or slightly humorous. Did I make sure to apologize to my friend whose feelings I hurt? I hurt my friend's feelings last time. I can't remember if I said that. I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. I don't remember saying you were trash, and if I did, please fact check me on that, and then you can post up if that is actually a direct quote. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and please click like and subscribe if you want to see my next video. And then I hope to start doing some playthrough videos. I've got a nice ultra-wide monitor, so I want to post some ultra-wide for you guys to see some lower BR tanks. I'll probably do the T-28 as my first one. I love playing the T-28. That tank is so much fun. Anyway, have a good day. We'll talk to you later.